I'm Krista Donnelly, and I did my project on the standpoint theory. So this theory was originally outlined and introduced by the work of German philosopher George Hegel in 1807. This theory assumes that people's experiences, knowledge, and opinions are shaped by the social groups to which they belong. In the early 1900s, researchers began applying the theory's concepts to studies of women and minorities, with a focus on how social position affects communication behaviors. Standpoint theory functions according to three basic assumptions. Firstly, people's social communities determine the types of information that they receive and which issues they find important. However, since people usually belong to multiple separate and different social groups, it is very much possible for a person to possess several standpoints at once. This results in creating a unique worldview. Secondly, when one formulates a standpoint, that process is a conscious and active one. To obtain a standpoint, a person must recognize and evaluate their experiences and social position. Thirdly, differences in standpoints arise from social inequalities. For example, in most cases, a homeless man views the world much differently than a billionaire would. When it comes to communicating, a person's standpoint often determines how he or she composed, analyzed, and relays the specific message. Stereotypically, and for example, a woman who speaks bluntly is often automatically viewed negatively in certain environments by members of both sexes. Her message may be just clear and direct, but social hierarchies and norms expect women to exercise tact and restraint, preventing her from straightforward disclosure. As a result of this, many women hedge their speech with adverbs, conditionals, and passive phrases so the receiving end feels as if she is warm, less threatening, and more inclusive. Standpoint theorists also claim that people in marginalized positions tend to express a more objective view of reality than members of privileged groups. This takes us back to the homeless man versus billionaire example. This is a result of people outside positions of power must adopt attitudes and behaviors common to privileged groups in order to adhere into the dominant culture. At the same time, standpoint theorists acknowledge the limitations class position places on understanding social relations for both parties. Griffin also acknowledges that this feministic theory has important differences between men and women. Men seek autonomy and women seek connection. This difference is evident in each group's communication. The masculine community uses speech to accomplish tasks, assert self, and gain power. The feminine community uses speech to build relationships, include others, and show responsiveness. Although the purpose of the standpoint theory is to provide an understanding of why people communicate in different ways and promote empowerment of marginalized individuals, the theory does have some critics. This theory is believed to have caused some researchers to engage in essentialism, which is the practice of assuming that all members of a group possess the same characteristics or share similar experiences. This ignores diversity that exists among members of a group, resulting in generalizations and stereotypes, just like the example that we used earlier with the way the woman spoke. Theorists do acknowledge the some faults in this theory and work to improve upon this theory. They say the theory's weakness can be resolved by using it in conjunction with other theories of communication. However, after all is said and done, standpoint theory has been extremely valuable in drawing attention to the communication behaviors of various social groups and enriching society's understanding of human interaction. An example in which this could be applied. The standpoint differences can be seen in policy formation of welfare systems and policies that are created for the poor and marginalized. Some people, such as orphans and the elderly, need it so badly that they cannot survive without support from the government. However, the people who are involved in policymaking do not see the whole picture of the lives that are marginalized. Most do not know about their needs and problems, and the policymakers do not need to utilize welfare services. Techniques to solve this problem with this theory have been educating individuals outside the bubble, quote unquote, of society that they may not be familiar with, as well as new techniques like community radios have emerged to solve the problem of standpoint differences of policymakers. To conclude, features of the standpoint theory include 1. Focusing on the concept of knowledge and awareness. 2. It is a mental position for an individual or group. 3. Important issues of the world are decided by standpoints. 4. The standpoints act as a reference for comparison of truth and judgments. 5. Marginalized viewpoints are more objective and accurate. 6. Oppressing groups are unique in position and have more social power to validate them. So multiple choice question 1. The question is, when ignoring the diversity among social groups, what is the result that is plausible? A, generalization, B, stereotypes, C, fairness, D, both A and B. And the correct answer would be D, both A and B. Multiple choice question 2. Does the standpoint theory involve and depend on gender? A, yes, B, no, C, both. The correct answer is A, yes. And multiple choice question number 3. What assumptions do the standpoint theory function on? A, social communities, B, how one was raised, C, experiences, D, social inequalities, E, all of the above, or F, both A and C. And the correct answer is E, all of the above. And this slide is just for my references. Thank you.